Caste and untouchability owe their origin to brahmanical Hinduism. But is caste oppression just a Hindu phenomenon?
Here, caste relations are couched in a religious idiom. Whether that religion is Hinduism, Christianity, or whatever, that doesn't matter.
India is about are you a Brahmin or not, and then Tamil Nadu is all about are you a non-Dalit or a Dalit. So the religion is not a problem here.
They say there is no caste in Christianity or in Islam. But is there caste among Muslims and Christians? If not, who then are the Pasmanda Muslims? Who are the Dalit Christians? Who are the Dalit Muslims?
You cannot call Malcolm X white because he became Muslim.
What happened to those communities who converted out of Hinduism in search of liberation?
You let this person sit in front of me, and next day Emmanuel Segran is killed along with a lot of people, and everybody are Christians.
It's a threat. And this kind of a polarizing and threatening language, I've never heard in the anti-caste discourse earlier. This is very recent. When we talk about Christian politics, when you talk about Muslim politics, when you talk about Hindu politics, it is basically privileged caste politics that we are talking about. And in all these traditions, they are having a very tense relationship with the anti-caste thinkers in all these communities.
The demand that Dalit Muslims, Dalit Christians and Pasmanda Muslims should benefit from affirmative action has many bitter opponents. The BJP, Sangh Parivar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi represent only just one section of that opposition.
Within the church, I'm an untouchable. Within my church, the church which I stopped going to, where the church which my elders, my ancestors built, where the Dalit women are made to sweep the church. Why so many years for generation, only Dalit women sweep the church?
The assertion of caste-oppressed Muslims and Christians has come under attack from the church establishment as well as from groups of Islamists. But what may come as a surprise to many is that the demand for affirmative action for lowered caste Muslims and for lowered caste Christians has many bitter critics even among Ambedkarites.
Don't do that. I mean, it's the greatest betrayal that you can do to the work of Baba Saheb, Ayodhya Das or any person.
If you are talking about democratic politics, 4 or 5 castes cannot be allowed to completely dominate any category.
So you're saying Periyar is an intellectual. Periyar is someone who's, talking about, a lot of reformation and everything. He's talking about cutting off the uteruses. Then why he did not cut off his caste ties?
Politicized religion and politicized caste, they are in antagonism to each other.
What Veeramani does is political lobby.
Right now, anti-caste discourse is facing a severe crisis, right? It has reached a plateau. Pasmanda discourse has a counter slogan. It says, "Jiski jitni sankhya bhari, uski utni zimmedari."
I don't want to lose my roots. I am a scheduled caste person. It's not about reservation, it's about the identity.
So can we start democratizing the anti-caste discourse? Can we start diversifying the anti-caste discourse? Can we start decolonizing the anti-discourse? And my sense is, it will not weaken, it will strengthen those communities which are leading the anti-caste discourse.
We spoke to two of the country's most prominent voices in the anti-caste movement among Christians and among Muslims, Professor Khalid Aniz Ansari and Shalin Maria Lawrence.
Whenever there is a caste honor killing happens or anything happens, we apply for, SC/ST POA for the victims. Something happens to me or Kadir, SC/ST POA will not be, applied.
Caste has to be relocated as a South Asian phenomenon, which organizes power, it organizes land, it organizes knowledge, sexuality, and so on. So we want Jati level data. That will help us in recategorization better. That would give us a sense of which community stands where in terms of representation, in terms of power, and so on.
Join us in this special 2-part series as we try to understand the ism of the anti-caste movement among Muslims and among Christians. The most influential ism in the country today appears to be Hindutva. It has taken a long time for this ideology to come of age. But what happened to the other ideological movements that began in the early 20th century? The RSS will turn 100 years old next year, but so will the Communist Party of India. Ambedkarism, Marxism, liberalism, Dravidianism, feminism, Gandhiism. What role are these great big isms of the 20th century playing in the 21st century? What relevance do they have today?
I'm an atheist in the same way as I'm an a-leprechaun.
Why have there been casteism existing in the country still today?
Feminism, by definition, is the belief that men and women should have equal
So the
rights.
nature of the system is to be as mean and rotten as you can, to try to maximize profit.
The national elections are around the corner, and what better time than now to talk about isms? I'm Sudipto Mondal, and welcome to this special election series of What's Your Ism? Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Your Ism? Today we're going to understand the ideology of a woman who is embattled in Tamil Nadu. She's a scholar, activist and an author, Shalin Maria Lawrence. Thank you for coming on What's Your Ism? Vanakkam.
Thanks. Vanakkam. Yeah, Vanakkam, Sudipto. It's nice being here. Thank you.
And I think this is a little difficult time for you, and for the last couple of days you've been under attack. I'm going to come to that. I'm going to let you talk about what has been happening in the Tamil Twitter space over the weekend. But before that, to get started, I just wanted to flag the point that Shalin, now, how do I put it? You, when I say you're embattled, definitely the right wing doesn't like you too much. But I understand that the CPM or the left, the Dravidian parties also have it against you, and have been coming. Their trolls and their supporters have been coming after you, and that's perhaps what makes you unique in that entire space, which is that you are not a Sanghi, okay. In spite of which you are quite a prime target for the non-Sanghis, for the so-called progressive crowd of Tamil Nadu. So to get this ball rolling, I think I'll start with your critics who are perhaps a little closest to your ideology. You're an Ambedkarite, an anti-caste voice, and I've been noticing off late that a lot of Dalit Christians, for example, have come under criticism from quote-unquote Ambedkarites who believe that Dalit Christians should not get the SC tag. Right? How did that come about? Can you just first talk about that experience and where you got attacked from, and the people who are saying that SC is an essentially Buddhist, Hindu, or a Sikh category and does not include Christians and Muslims for a good reason. So, what do you think that good reason is, or do you think it should be changed?
No, it should be changed because it is about my identity, right? See, for example, if there is a black person and the black person in US gets an African American gets an affirmative action, and tomorrow he just changes his that is based on his race, right? Because racism still exists and race discrimination still exists in America, and tomorrow if he goes and changes his religion, you cannot call him white. Right? You cannot call Malcolm X white because he became Muslim, or you cannot call Christianity was one of the main reason. Bible was one of the main backbone of racism in in America, and but Malcolm X believed in Bible. A lot of anti-caste movement anti-race movement people believed in the Bible. So you can't call MLK as white. So likewise, how can you call a Dalit person who is untouchable by the caste system? A non-scheduled caste or a non-Dalit because they don't belong to the Hindu religion anymore. The Hindu religion itself did not exist for a long time, just 150 years back or 200 years back. The Britishers, put up, they collated, they organized all the, indigenous people who were not Christians, not Muslims, not any. That's what the Constitution says. Who's a Hindu? A Hindu is someone who is not a Christian, Muslim, or a Sikh. That is a Hindu, right? So obviously, where is this Dalits being Hindu comes? Because Ayodhyadas Pandidar says that we are indigenous Buddhists. We are Mulnivasi Buddhists. When Ambedkar was converting their people, as Dalits, as he was, converting them, voices from South, MC Raja or, Rettamala Srinivasan, he went ahead and said, why should I convert when I'm already a Buddhist? He said, I'm not a Hindu. I'm a Paraya and I'm not a Hindu and I will not convert. So converting, not converting, both ways, I'm not an Hindu. I'm an indigenous person and I am a Purvakudi Buddhist. That's what they say. I am a Mulnivasi Buddhism. Tamil Buddhism dates 3000 years back. Tamil Buddhism, that is the root of whatever you call as Dravidian politics right now, what you call as Tamil politics right now. That is the root. So we've never been Hindus. So when you say Garvapsi, I'm wondering where should I go, because I have been converted for like 6 generations. I can't go to, because before 6 generations there was not a Hindu organized religion. So I should be going to Buddhism for Garvapsi rather than Hinduism. And RSS make this point, and I'm like I'm like laughing at them. They don't have any data on this.
Let me quickly come in over here. So I find that very interesting, this entire discourse of Ayotitas. And, before anybody proposed it, it was Ayotitas who proposed the concept of Buddhism as an emancipatory faith. But while we are on this topic of Dalit Christians, right? Let me share with you some of the things that have been said in order to justify the denial of SC status to both Christians and Muslims. And this is coming from, how do I put it? Can I call them Maharashtrian Ambedkarites, North Indian Hindi-speaking Ambedkarites?
Academic Ambedkarites. There is
Let's
a group
even
of
call them that
academic
then.
Ambedkarites, yeah.
Okay. But they I picked up something very, very recently where there was a discussion, and it was said that there is no moral justification for granting SC status to either Dalit Christians or Dalit Muslims because they have been rulers in the past, right? That there was an entire the British Empire which gave Christians a lot of say, supposedly a lot of power. I don't know.
The British gave a lot of power to Brahmins, actually. The sanitary workers were maintained sanitary workers, Christians were doing menial jobs, and we were just like that. Missionaries only did good for us. British maintained the caste system. British maintained the status quo. There were some things given by them, like the depressed class reservation, that they only not give to Christians. No, they gave to everybody. No, it was blanket depressed class reservation. We were the first one to get the reservation in India, the affirmative action, right? And they gave in Madras presidency, they gave the political representation before 1920s itself. That we got, everybody got it, not just Christians, right? The British were treating us as Indians, not Christians or Hindus or Muslims or Dalits, okay? Mohammedans, that's what they used to call, not like that. So everybody were Indians for them. And so another point is, in nowadays, when they say, I will not accept you as a SC, I think the only point of contention is sharing the reservation. Sharing that, percent of reservation what you have. That is where they are fighting. They're not saying, okay, you're not this. So they're bringing in all invalid, arguments, or sometimes it is more inhuman arguments to call your brother who's still an untouchable in this country, because I'm an untouchable. I what happened when I went to, I'm a Christian. I went to Mathura. Because I used to travel a lot in UP. I went to this birthplace of Krishna, and as soon as I reached, I was like 18 years old, and this person didn't ask me whether you're Christian or a Muslim or Hindu. He asked me, Brahmin ho? The guy with the group, he said, Brahmin ho? And we were like, and then he said, don't touch the walls. He said, don't touch the walls, come inside and give us money. And that's the first time I'm like, okay, I am an untouchable. So he didn't ask my caste, religion. He only asked whether I'm Brahmin or not. The India is about, are you a Brahmin or not? And then Tamil Nadu is all about, are you a non-Dalit or a Dalit? So the religion is not a problem here. And then we have Christianity. We did not change to Christianity because, it's a good, we will get out of caste. We did not want to remain in a system which called us untouchables. We just want to get away from it, and we have all the reasons for it. And Constitution guarantees us to profess our faith and to preach or profess. Constitution says that. And then within the church, I'm an untouchable. Within my church, the church which I stopped going to, where the church which my elders, my ancestors built, where the Dalit women are made to sweep the church in the name of, a congregation of Mary. And I'm like sitting and like, why so many years for generation, only Dalit women sweep the church? Only Dalit women sweep the church. So that's where I saw that discrimination exists within the church. You have 18 dioceses, Catholic dioceses. In that, only 2 of them are Dalit bishops. And 70% of Christianity in Tamil Nadu are Dalits. But we do not have, there are places where certain churches where we can't enter, and there are dual cemeteries. So you can't
Dual
come
symmetries,
and,
you said.
yeah, they're dual symmetry. In Trichy and all, you have two symmetry. And my symmetry, the one which my family, gets it from the Britishers, we are in the last, the Madras, the last part where the goats shit and the pigs shit, that is the place where we get buried in the whole of the cemetery. So I am a Dalit, but I converted because there is Dalit theology, there is suffering. I see a God who's not super, but a God who does not, steal things or whatever. A God who died for you. And then I see someone without clothes. He's been mocked upon. His clothes are auctioned. So I'm like connecting with that. I like it. There is wine, there is bread. I like it. We get converted.
Let me come here quickly. So you're saying two things. One, you're saying that Christianity did offer emancipation for those who were under Brahmanical Hinduism. But you're also saying that the church as an institution has been quite casteist.
The Indian
and
church.
Despite this, the Indian church has been quite casteist. Now, let me use that to get into another point where there is a criticism that Dalit Christians are not bothered about the anti-caste agitation, that they are more Christian. This is not me. I'm just saying that this is one of the things that I picked up, right? Saying that they would rather say that they are Christian than say that they are Dalit, right? And the conspiracy theory is that the SC Dalits who at present get notified as SC still have that radical potential to overthrow the caste system. The attempt to add Dalit Christians, to add Dalit Muslims, dilutes the radical potential of the Ambedkarite movement, and in fact, it is a leftist or a liberal conspiracy to dilute the radicalism of the Dalit movement, the Ambedkarite movement, by introducing people who don't even relate to the anti-caste struggle. How do you respond?
First thing you have to note that we came under scheduled caste. It is an ethnic identity. Scheduled caste or scheduled community, scheduled class is an ethnic identity. I think Chandrachud also, honorable judge, gave an explanation on that recently in one of his observations. So we scheduled class or caste means that these are indigenous people. We call ourselves Adi Dravidas, the Periyars. So like Adi Andhra, we are Adi Dravidas. We belong to this place ethnically. So it's an ethnic identity. And then we had the scheduled caste status until 1950. In 1950, Rajendra Prasad, under this Congress government, Rajendra Prasad, he brought a presidential order, scrapping it and making us, non-scheduled caste. Don't you think this is RSS agenda? This is RSS agenda, because I read about Rajendra Prasad recently that how when he took oath as a first president of India, he made 100 Brahmin priests to come to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and then there he washed the feet of all those people. So this Brahmin Hindu man goes and scraps a law, something which is there. He erased my identity. He erased my scheduled caste identity. So you Dalit brothers should have fought for me. But you just blank there. So what gave the strength for RSS? What gave the strength for Jansangh? Who gave that strength? Congress. The presidential order. Rajendra Prasad gave the strength to RSS to build a majoritarian nation based on one religion. That was anti-radical. So this is the reason that Hindutva, a right-wing extremism started growing. Now you're saying BJP is fundamentalist. No, Congress was once also fundamentalist. I don't know Pranab Mukherjee. I didn't know Pranab Mukherjee was RSS until 10 years back. You had a RSS person sitting in your office, and then you said you're fighting Hindutva. Who are you fooling with? Who are you fooling with? So the whole country, the majoritarian ethos is about Hinduism. So you have not let us practice our religion, and you have scrapped our ethnical right. Will any country will scrap anything saying no, you will not be native Indian because you're not native Indian in America because you suddenly became a Christian? Will they do it? They will never do it. They'll not say you're not black anymore. But I've lost my scheduled caste status. I lost रिजर्वेशन को छोड़ो, पीसीआर नहीं डाल सकती मैं. This person is coming and saying, oh, she's a Dalit convert.
Actually, tell me about PCR.
This person, I'm telling you, this person comes and tells me online, because I go through so much of online harassment. I can't book one fucking SC thing. He says we can rape her. We can rape her and she doesn't, PCR will not apply on her. He says that to me. I have the screenshot. And what do you think? You think the most radical people right now in India are Dalit Christians, because I'm done Dalit, Muslims and Buddhists. You know why? Because the whole BJP is riding on the communalism horse, and we are the one we are giving you full tough challenge. Who else will give you? Because you're seeing the binary also. India's thing is not binary, but when BJP comes to power, the first, it is in power, the first one who got affected with the Kandhamal people, how many martyrs in Kandhamal died? Are you talking about the Kandhamal Dalit martyrs, Christian martyrs? Are you talking about the Bihar, the sisters, the nuns who were derobed in Bihar and paraded naked in the 90s? All this happened when Congress was the ruling, no? But BJP had the power even then.
I just want to add to what you're saying, which is that in your own state, I suppose the first mass atrocities against Dalits were committed in Tamil Nadu. The entire history of Emmanuel Sekharan and what was happening in the south.
A lot of them in Keelvenmani were Christians. Because they belong to the Pallar caste, and a lot of people were Christians and from the Delta region, and most of them, that was on a Christmas Eve. That was on a Christmas Eve that they burned to death. More than 70 people. So they died, and Emmanuel Sekharan, he was a Christian, he was a Protestant Christian, and he fought so much. He's one, this Muthuramalinga Devar, who's been worshipped by the Dravidian parties and all the parties in Tamil Nadu as a freedom fighter. This Muthuramalinga Devar is a dominant caste, violence-provoking caste leader who got agitated that this Dalit Christian was sitting in front of him, because he was a military man. He, you used to wear boots, Emmanuel Sekharan. So he sat with legs, with the knees, on his knees, and he couldn't take it. And he said, he went out and said, oh, this person, is it, you let this person sit in front of me. And next day, Emmanuel Sekharan is killed along with a lot of people, and everybody are Christians. And you take it today. You take today. You're telling, that we are not saying Dalit Christians. Who are the topmost, who died for these people? Who are the topmost human rights defender in this country right now, defending people? Evidence Kadir is a Catholic Christian. Shalin Maria Lawrence, who has 23 threats on rape, murder charges on a whole family with very, very goryly morphed photographs. I am a Catholic. I am a Christian Dalit. Cynthia Stephen is a Christian Dalit. And then you have Ruth Manorama. And then Stan Swami. And then you go ahead. You have all the priests. John Suresh, the priest who brought Parai to Tamil Nadu. He was a Dalit Christian. Alex, who was a Dalit Christian, publisher, who revived the Renaissance. He got the Renaissance of, the 80s. He brought in the Dalit arts back in, Madurai. The Parai was brought back. All the Dalit arts and literature came back because of Alex. Alex was a Dalit Christian. Paratai. People should learn about Paratai. Paratai was a Dalit theologian. He spoke so much of self-respect. These Dravidian parties in Tamil Nadu did not talk about these Dalit leaders, did not talk about these Dalit Christian leaders. They were Hindutva from the beginning. They were never secular. They were either anti-religion, either atheist or Hindu. But they were never been secular. Tamil Nadu has never been secular. Tamil Nadu's identity is Bharatanatyam, filter coffee and Madras. We blame the media. We blame Hindu and Express. You had the textbook, ministry with you. You had the education ministry with you. You could have made a lot of difference. You've been in the power from 1960s. What have you done to change the majoritarian ethos of communalism in this state? Leave the country. In the state, what have you done? You have breeded only caste leaders, Hindu caste leaders. So when I'm going to talk about DMK or Dravidian party, I will talk about Hindu and caste. I'm not going to leave them on the communalism part. They were never secular.
Okay. I think now that you have already yourself gone in the direction of the critique of the Dravidian parties. Let's get there, because that was supposed to be my second segment, after the question of Dalit Christians. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I left out in that section, because, it's great that you actually gave that shout out, that entire list, that, Cynthia Stephen, Ruth Manorama, Alex, all these people. And it's important, I think, because that you say it, because I did read a couple of articles saying, where is the anti-caste among Dalit Christians?
And the irony is, we work for, whenever there is a caste honor killing happens or anything happens, we apply for, SC, POA for the victims. Something happens to me or Kadir, SC, POA will not be, applied. It cannot be applied. And there is a lot of manual scavengers in Tamil Nadu who died in Chennai.
Quickly, let me tell our listeners who Kadir is. Kadir is an NGO activist who heads this organization called Evidence. A lot of us journalists have been working with him for several years now because he's somebody who's most often the first person on the spot when an atrocity case happens. So that's about the Dalit Christian question. Now I think is a good time, because you've already started it off, to talk about what has been happening over the last 2 days. Let's start from there. Yeah, because that will be a good entry point. That will be a good entry point to talk about your differences with the Dravidian movement, right? What exactly happened 2 days ago? You were at the Vanam festival?
Bhimji's festival. Yeah.
Bhimji's festival. And you said something that really set off the trolls. There was a lot of sexist abuse, and I'm very sorry that happened to you. But the crowd that went after you had a fair number of communists and a fair number of Dravidian ideologues, right? So what did you say? Okay, let's take it step by step. What did you say to trigger that? What really ticked them off?
First of all, I have to appreciate Ranjit for doing a wonderful job with, Dalit arts, literature, because his job does not end with just making movies. He extends beyond that, and he includes a lot of people, and he builds public discourses, which is like really, and this Vanam, the literature festival, has been happening for 3 years, and I've been part of 3 years. And everybody takes part in that, like every caste, every person from every, even Kanimori has been a part of it, a lot of people. And then I was given a topic as, Dalit topics in public discourse. What is the Dalit politics in public discourse? So I go ahead and I talk about Ilayaraja, especially because right now we speak a lot about Ilayaraja's music. I mean, a lot of people don't know that Ilayaraja is a Dalit, that he belongs to, the Periyar community of the Teni. These people worked in, his whole family has been communists, and his whole family has been, working in cardamom farms and plantations, and they've seen the worst in their life. And he comes from such, a caste and class location, and and he's one of the biggest geniuses across the world, globally. And then people are here and they are, making fun of him all the time, bad-mouthing him, foul-mouthing him.
Why? Because he joined the BJP.
He didn't join BJP. He was an appointee of the central government based on, there's an art social sector where they appoint people as, nominated MPs. He's never part of BJP. And he's praised Kalanjar a lot of times. He's praised Stalin. And he's always been, a DMK person. And I would say his politics is very different. He's been very inclusive. He's been with Jayalalitha, has been with Karunanidhi. He's been very loyal to the Dravidian politics in the first place. But Dravidian politics has never given him the due respect which he's supposed to.
So that's what you said.
And I said, that's what I said. Don't badmouth us. Because these communist groups sitting in Tamil Nadu, as soon as he wrote a foreword for Modi's book, he just wrote a foreword, okay, nothing else. They go ahead, they bash him, they call him like, you are someone who you do menial jobs. You belong to this Periyar community. You people are good for nothing. Ilayaraja is good for nothing. This Congress leader, Ilangovan, he keeps that, Veeramani, head of Dravidian movement, in a stage in E-Road and says, you beat that Parai, they call Molam in a more derogatory manner. He says, you're playing Molam, you will become a music director. He says that word. You are a Dalit. You are Thalthapattavan. That is more derogatory way. Or Thalthapattavan. Tamil Nadu, all these Periyaris use the word. And he says, you will become a music director. Who's a bigger music director than Ilayaraja in the world right now? And can you talk like that And everybody are clapping and Veeramani is like laughing. You people talk about social justice so much in the north. And everybody in JNU, everybody in, even the Columbia University, they all come and say, oh, you have a social justice movement, Periyar's movement in Tamil Nadu. And this whole Periyar's movement has been whitewashing the crimes in Tamil Nadu against Dalits. No. And you demean a Dalit, you insult a Dalit. Ranjit also. The way he's been treated, all Dalit creators, writers like me, Dalit activists like me, every time they are dehumanized by these OBCs, because Tamil Nadu has a very big OBC population and a very less Brahmin population, and they in the garb of anti-caste politics, they spew venom on us. They talk ill about our Bahujan gods, Bahujan deities, and they throw tantrums. They'll call us indecent, ugly, not well, behaved and all those stuff. And this has been happening for a long time because of the vote bank politics, the OBC vote bank politics, and the caste violence is high. So I'm questioning there. I'm talking about, okay, why are you not? Because I spoke about Reddyur Pandian. See, we were talking about menial jobs. So I spoke about how Reddyur Pandian, a hereditary Parai player, was forced to, play Parai in the 80s, and he said, I'll not play. And they cut him off. They killed him. Vanjikote Kandan also said, I will not play Parai because they are supposed to play Parai and they're considered untouchable. They stay outside the village. They said, I'll not do. They cut his penis off. In front of his home. And these people are still making us play Parai. So I spoke about why you have not, respected these people, why you have not honored these people. When you're honoring OBCs, when you're honoring Brahmins in Tamil Nadu, the amount of respect even Hindu Ram gets or whoever gets, everybody gets a lot of respect. But these people, anti-caste activists, you have not given importance to them. So I asked them, why you are not given importance to them? That's the question I asked. I said, why are you insulting Ilayaraja and his music? I asked these 3 questions. And then I said, you communists sitting here, there was a book released, Whitewashing, Mari Japi Massacre. When I heard about Mari Japi massacre, I heard about it 5 years back. I was in trauma for 1 month. I couldn't handle it. And when I heard about Karam Chedu, I couldn't sleep. It was horrible. The blood bath, it became a blood island. The carnage they did, the West Bengal government. And anytime you go, Nannur, you take Singur, you take Nandigram, who gets affected, no? Who gets affected? Muslims and Dalits, they get affected. And then, a journalist, a communist journalist, a Brahmin, goes and writes whitewashing a book, whitewashing the whole massacre. And this Advan Dichania, a Dalit writer, is sitting and promoting that book 2 months back. And all the Dalit writers from the Communist Party who have got this new progressive, writers union, they're sitting and they're promoting this book. I've heard yesterday that Neelam said they will not showcase that book in their exhibition last January, the book fair, and they fought with him. I came to know only about that yesterday.
So,
and
the book is titled. Right? The book is titled what? What is the title of the book?
Nadandadi enna. What is the truth? What is the truth? And then there is a whole review of the book. Me and I spoke to Subhajit on the book. I spoke to a lot of people on the book, and we discussed about the book. And the book is justifying the murder. It says nothing like that happened, or only less people happened, or they brought it on themselves. They were unprepared and they brought it on themselves, and they only blame Congress. And Congress was a part of it because Congress promised these people land that time in the Sundarbans. Now we're only not going to talk about communists. We're going to talk about Congress also, right? And then you kill so many people, hundreds of people, more than 400 people, children, women. In the night, these police wade through the waters and then they kill them. So the book says those police are communists, so they cannot kill anyone. Communists cannot kill anyone, is it? Do you know Russia and China? Do you know Kerala?
But let's come to
communists. Do you know
communists.
how many of them are killed in Kerala? Let's talk about Kerala government. All these places I'm telling you, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, all these has this progressive mass. And they go ahead with all those jal across India saying, look at us, we are the poster boys of progressiveness. But these are, if you go and talk to the Dalits, the women, the tribals and the Adivasis in the states, then you will know. These people think Kolkata is West Bengal. One of the biggest states in India, they think Kolkata is West Bengal. They'll not even know what is Sundarban. They're sitting here and they're saying this Adavan Dichanya, and everybody is saying, this Mari Japi is a myth. It is debunked by scientific data. What the hell is scientific data? You have
But tell me-
documentaries on Mari
tell- but
Japi.
tell-
You have seen victims talking about it. You have Deepak Haldar's book. You have a lot of people, Dalit scholars talking about Mari Japi. Not just Mari Japi. For the last 60 years in the West Bengal, Dalits have not been given the due credit in the government.
Okay, so there is an example from Bengal. I'm sure there's stuff in Kerala as well. But what about the communist movement in Tamil Nadu?
Communist movement in Tamil Nadu used to be good. Because even this Keelvenmani, they claim it as, what happened when Thirumavalavan in his initial phases in the 90s, he wanted to go to this Keelvenmani massacre site, which is, it has a memorabilia. They have in memory of them, they have a stupa kind of a thing. And when Thirumavalavan went there in the 90s to visit, he was 90s were the golden period of Thirumavalavan. And when he was like in his full vigor and he went to Keelvenmani. And these communists chased him. I said, this is a communist matter, you don't come here. And then he started talking about Keelvenmani. And then he started saying the people who died here are Dalits. And the people who committed crime on them are OBCs, Naidus and Naikars. And the people who saved them was, most of them are part of Congress and DMK. And the person who was behind everything, Gopalakrishna Naidu, he was released. And Justice Chandru wrote an article saying how the DMK government was very aloof and instrumental in him getting released without getting jailed.
Periyar was very much around, no?
You should read my latest, I think like 2022, I wrote an article on that, like how Keelvenmani is not a communist struggle, it is a socialist struggle of the Dalit and Dalit women. You know what happened in Keelvenmani? They were given one half, a pot of paddy. That was their salary. And these women asked for quarter pot more of this. And they were killed for it. So these women who are cooking at homes, they even treat Keelvenmani as a masculine or a communist movement. But Keelvenmani movement was a Dalit woman movement. Because 80% of laborers, agricultural land laborers are women. And they are 70% of them are Dalits. So this movement for that rise was not just for rise, it was for self-respect in the 1968. And these people, these women fought for it, the women and men and everybody. And they burned them down on Christmas Eve along with the children and everybody. You can see the bodies, all burnt and charred. I think the next day when somebody went there, I think Krishnamal Jagannathan, she's also one of the Dalit, activists, but she was Gandhian. And she went the next day, she could say, I could smell the charred, smell of the bodies. And the DMK government could not even prosecute him properly. And this guy who did it came out. And then years later, the person whose family got affected by it, he murdered him.
Okay, now tell me, in this Keelvenmani case, you have also criticized the role of Periyar, E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar. What exactly is your criticism?
So I went back. I'm a staunch Periyar supporter, right? I got married in Periyar Drill, self-respect wedding. I got married in Periyar Drill. I did have a very big fascination for Periyar. And right now, I do respect him on his takes on scientific temperament, federalism, atheism, a lot of things. I do, give respect to that. But when it comes to anti-caste, Periyar was more anti-Brahmin than, Dalit friendly. Then, he did attend, the last 5 years I've been seeing, he did attend a lot of caste group meetings of the OBCs and talking to them.
He did or he didn't? You're saying he did or he didn't?
He did go and attend. He did. So when I went, and because all the proofs are there in their own magazine, there is a magazine called Vidudalai, which is translated as Freedom, and their own magazine which was run by Periyar, which is now run by Veeramani, and the Periyar goes to the East Delta region after that carnage which happened in Keelvenmani, and he said Dalit should not engage in political things like that, and he said the communists are the ones who provoked them to do that. Otherwise, this would have not happened. And he didn't condemn anybody. And the paper is there with me. A copy of that is there with me. And then when I published an article saying it is very disappointing that Periyar did not take to the support of the Dalits, instead he victim blamed them. He gaslighted them. And he didn't support them, and I felt very bad about it. And then I wrote about it. I took the proof from their own magazine and a part of his speech, and I wrote about it. And all these communists, even the communists, they all came barking at me saying, you can't talk about that. You ask me, why I'm always in battle? Because I write the truth. I write the truth, I speak the truth for Dalits, and they do not like it. See, what has happened is all the people who are vigorously engaged in Dalit politics are now part of this Dravidian vote bank politics ecosystem, and they do not like the communist writers, Dalit writers, or few Dalit leaders who say we don't talk Dalit politics anymore. So they've been absorbed by these Dravidian parties, and they're not talking Dalit politics anymore. And when few people like me or Ranjit or anybody speak Dalit politics, we are battered, we are threatened. Right now, I'm sitting in your office and your editor was setting up this whole thing. I get a text message from a DMK supporter saying, you will die in the hands of DMK. This is what I got. You will die in the hands of DMK. I can post it after this. And then it is because I questioned why there is no monument for an anti-caste person. I questioned why these communists have went ahead and, erased, a Dalit massacre. And why these communists are not talking about Dalit rights or land rights anymore, and they are only slaves to Udayanidhi. I'm saying, why are you saying Udayanidhi? You're supposed to talk about Dalit rights, because I do believe in communism. I do believe in Marx. I do like Lenin a lot, but I'm more Leninist than Marxist. But I do, but I'm an Ambedkarite. So if you're going to ask Buddha or Marx, I'm going to say Buddha. Buddha had all the answers. It is there. You don't want to follow Buddha. You want to follow Marx. And it is like confuses me. May 1st is coming, Sudipto, May 1st is coming. Who the communists in Tamil Nadu should celebrate? Tell me who should they celebrate on May 1st? Labourers' Day.
You tell me.
Ambedkar, they should celebrate Ambedkar. 8 hours working hour, gratuity, maternal leave, maternity benefits, the miners' law, the union thing. Whatever Communist Party is doing, हमारे पास union है, that is possible only because in 1931, Ambedkar brought the tripartite agreement, that law, without which you can't have a union. If not for Ambedkar, your unions will not exist. So, if I sit and take, there are so many, laws, labor laws, more than 100 labor laws Ambedkar has brought. And I'm sitting and I'm like, I'm confused. I'm like, what? This was brought by Ambedkar. Yes, he got you gratuity. He got you leave. He got you 8 hours. And May 1st leave, everything. And somebody is taking credit for it. You're celebrating Marx. On May 1st. In India, you should be celebrating Ambedkar. You're not doing it. And then there are Tamil leaders. A leader from the fishing community called Singaravelar, a Bagujan leader. He was a communist, but he was the one who, struggled for these people here. They are not even celebrating him. They are straight, they want to go to Germany, Russia, China, West Bengal. Nobody wants to talk about Ambedkar at all. And I'm asking them, why you're not talking about Ambedkar? He's the savior. Ambedkar, Baba Sahib is the savior of the Indian laborers. Will they say that?
There's something you said back there which I want to go back to. You, I suppose, are one of the few people I know who has managed to criticize Periyar, not necessarily Periyarists alone, because the criticism of Periyarists has happened over time, and their contradictions have become apparent over time. With these atrocities, with several instances have piled up over the years for us to say that okay, there is a contradiction there. But you are somebody who's putting the blame in the right at the origin, right? You're saying that there was something wrong at the very start with the person who started Periyarist politics, which is Periyar himself. Do you think that that is the sum total of Periyar, or do you think that's just an aberration? what happened in Kirvanmani, right? You're saying that he took the side of, not took the side, but he kind of, victim blamed, you said. Is there anything else you've noticed in Periyar's career that kind of...
Yeah, something which I noticed, like, they always talk about his marriage to Mani Amma, and they talk about the age. But somebody came and asked me, like, why did he marry a person from his, OBC caste itself, a feudal caste itself? He could have married a Dalit woman if he really wanted to, get, Then I said, it's love, or if it's commitment. You can't choose caste in that, right? You can't choose a person based on that. So it's highly, it's wrong. And even the Sangi is talking about Periyar marrying his daughter. No, she was not his daughter. She was someone very strange to him, but he got married to her. My question arose when, this person called Sampath, EVK Sampath. He was the one who Periyar adopted. Because Periyar had a huge wealth with him, a very huge wealth, and there is this Periyar Dravida Kadaham. The foundation is in thousands of crores, and there's a lot of money which is involved. And he adopted a person from his own Naikar caste, Sampath, than anybody else. If Periyar wanted to do something very anti-caste, he could have adopted a Dalit, which didn't happen. And I was like, Periyar he was not a normal man, right? So you're saying Periyar is an intellectual. Periyar is someone who's, talking about, a lot of reformation and everything. He's talking about cutting off the uteruses. Then why he did not cut off his caste ties? He could have, adopted a Dalit guy or a girl, which he didn't do. So the amount, the wealth goes to the same caste. And then Veeramani comes into picture. And Veeramani also is an OBC, and he's not a Dalit. And the whole, we've seen the OBC violence in Tamil Nadu. A lot of activities doesn't happen here. Anti-caste activity doesn't happen here at all. Because what Veeramani does is political lobby. He's a political lobbyist. He sits here, he has a lot of network in US and Europe and everything, and he talks social justice on the stage, but he does not get down and he doesn't do anything, and there is like solar eclipse and moon eclipse, there's a lot of Hindus here, they don't eat at that time. So the only revolution they do right now is on solar eclipse and lunar eclipse, they eat dosa from pure vegetarian hotel. They don't even eat non-veg. They eat pure vegetarian. That is the only revolution Dravidar Kadagam right now is doing. Nothing else with so much of money and wealth and resources.
Shalin, can I ask you? Can I ask you a question? Do you think your Ambedkarism gets you into trouble, or your sarcasm?
My sarcasm gets me into trouble a lot of time. Because like, what, dude, it's 2024. If you have to do, rebellion, Shalin can, they call me a keyboard warrior. But I'm telling you something. I've done very big stuff. I do very big stuff sitting in my home. And, the whole internet is buzzing for 3 days with Mari Japi and, talks on communism. These people are fighting. And what happened is, you asked me what is a fight, no? Because Adavan Deechanya called me, fringe element. You people are talking fringe element. You're not part of any, association or party. You're fringe element. You're a sellout. So Ambedkar was a separate man. He was an independent man. MC Raja was an independent man. Rettai Malai Srinivasan was an independent man. But those people, Ayodhidas Pandidar was an independent man. He never believed in either of your associations or any of your parties, right? They stood alone.
Speaking of Ayodhidas, I remember you once put up a statement saying that the Dravidian movement has appropriated Ayodhidas' theory.
Yeah.
That he's the first person who talked about Dravida, who talked about Adi Dravida.
Is the father of rationalism in Tamil Nadu. Because in the mid 19th century, Ayodhidas was a Chennai. He belongs to Chennai, a Dalit from Chennai. Dalit, he belongs to our Periyar community. And his family, they were the ones who had the palm leaf scripts of Tirukural. They were the ones who went and gave it to Ellis, Governor Ellis at that time. And that Tirukural, that Ellis, what he did was he printed it. And he put it into vernacular usage. Because of Ayodhya. Have you heard of this? Did you know that Tiruvalluvar belongs to Periyar Valluvar community? I asked that on the stage. I said that Thiruvalluvar belongs to the Valluvar community. When Tarun Vijay put a Poonul, a Janu on Thiruvalluvar and took they tried to appropriate Thiruvalluvar and took him to Ganga, no? So I asked, why are you taking him there? When they did that, Tamil Nadu government, none of them said, oh, he's not a Brahmin. But when we with proof tell you that Valluvar is, Thiruvalluvar is Dalit, you couldn't take it. That's why they got angry that day, because I'm talking all these things. They couldn't take it.
Why did they get angry? Because they saw it as something which was demeaning? Why exactly did they get angry?
They're saying, how can you claim Buddha as whatever? How can you claim they don't want to hear the word Dalit. So if anybody say this particular person who's achieved this is a Dalit, they can't take it. Even if you say they are Brahmin, they will believe it. See, M.S. Subbulakshmi is a Bahujan. Okay, she belongs to the Isai Velalar community. But M.S. Subbulakshmi married a Brahmin, Kalki Sadasivam. And then he Brahmanized her totally. She wore Madisaran and all. So everybody, the civil society, started believing that she's a Brahmin. Nobody fought about it. Nobody wrote about it. Nobody did anything about it. Okay. But when suddenly you come and say that, this person is not a Brahmin and this is a Bahujan person, then everybody opposes it. Like if I say Thiruvalluvar is a Dalit with proof, they can't take it. So if you're going to Brahmanize a Bahujan, it's okay. If you're going to Brahmanize a Dalit, okay. But you Dalitize a Dalit, you can't take it. Because Dalits are not intellectuals. Dalits cannot be intelligent. Dalits are hardworking, cow-like humans in Tamil Nadu. They'll be foot soldiers, they'll be building parties, they'll be cadres of party. We are always equalized or synonymized with hard work. We are not synonymized with brains. So when there is a set of people who talk about intellectuality of Dalits, when people talk about the school of thought of Ayodhidas, how Ambedkar came here, Baba Saheb learnt from the South Asian Buddhist Association formed by Ayodhidas, how he learned that and how he became converted after that. When he talk about that, they can't take it. They talk about Periyar. Before that, even before Periyar become Dravida Kalaham's head, Rettemalai Srinivasan brought the law that anybody in Madras presidency can go into any temple, drink water from any well, use any public water resources. It is a law, 1927 law in the Madras Legislative Council. Anybody has spoken about it? No. But they're saying Periyar only did everything. Today, no, I put something and they said, if not for Periyar, your life would have been haywire. I said, my grandfather completed his English education in 1930s. In 1940, he was a teacher. And my grandmother was a teacher in the 1938 itself. Now you tell me, how did I benefit? And my depressed class reservation was there before 1926. So, the OBC reservation came later. And who got that? You got OBC reservation. Mondal Commission was possible because of who? Sudipto, 1 mark goes to you. Tell me. Who's responsible?
I'm asking questions. You don't get to ask questions over here. You tell me.
So, because of Ambedkar, OBC reservation was possible. So, you don't fool Dalits here.
Let me ask you. So, there is an allegation, not an allegation, a criticism, let's say, that Shalin speaks rhetorically, right? That she doesn't have data, right? That she doesn't have facts and figures and things like that. So, to take you back to one such example, or not even an example, one such case where you were accused of being rhetorical and not factual, was when this debate broke out between Modi and BJP and your DMK over freebies versus...
My DMK. Yeah. I support DMK.
Yeah,
I've been a supporter of DMK. My party has, my forefathers have actually went ahead and campaigned for DMK. Until the last, Satta Sabha election, the legislative election of the state, I voted for DMK only. So my heart is with DMK only. Yes, you can say your DMK. Yes, please.
Your
because
DMK.
We built the party.
So
we built the party. The Dalits built the party. Yeah.
Okay. So there was a fight between your DMK, an argument between your DMK and the BJP, where the BJP was talking about freebies, Revadi and all this stuff started. And at that time, I remember PTR, right, who was the finance minister back then, said that he came up with an entire counter argument to that thing, saying that these are welfare measures and these are not freebies, right? And you came and said something very interesting. You said that for all their welfare measures, the money comes from SC/ST subplan. So they are giving out mixer, grinder, TV, building flyovers, doing whatever. But that entire Dravidian economic model, because PTR keeps talking about the Dravidian economic model, right? So your counter was that money comes from Dalit funds or SC/ST subplan funds, which are misdirected or redirected towards these general schemes. But diverted. Now, you couldn't back that up with numbers or statistics or things like that. So
No, yeah, I couldn't back that up with numbers, but we knew that color TV, the mixer grinder, and the Samatvaburams were built with Dalit money. I think I spoke to a lot of journalists on that, and they couldn't get the data. Like, even I think you also couldn't get the data. I think it the data has been hidden in such a way that you can't go ahead, but they can't prove else. Tomorrow, if I'm going to say that today I'm making an allegation that color TV, the mixer grinder, and whatever the government gave as freebies, a part of the money came from SC/ST plan, the fund. They cannot file a case on me. If they have guts, they can go ahead and file a case on me. I can go that and prove them wrong. They can file a case of me if they have data. Okay? The onus is on that. Another one, I'll tell you what happened. Then, after speaking about this sub-plan, I went and looked into Samatvapuram. They said Kalanjar built Samatvapuram, Kalanjar built Samatvapuram. So, we took that data. That data is there. Samatvapuram, houses are, it's a failed model. They will talk about
just
it.
quickly tell people who are not from Tamil Nadu what's Samatvapuram, and then you can...
Samatvapuram is a locality, like 100-200 localities, townships, which Kalanjar came up with, where all castes will live together. Because in Tamil Nadu, people don't live together, okay? The dominant caste lives in the center of the village, then the least dominant caste lives outside, and Dalits live outside of the village near the crematorium. That's how Tamil Nadu exists, okay? There is no near... Tamil Nadu is not California or Los Angeles or whatever it is. Tamil Nadu exists like this only. This is how caste operates in Tamil Nadu. And I mean, I spoke about this, and for this also they abused me. Like, I got death
what's your
threats
point
for
about
talking
Samatvapuram? What's your point about Samatvapuram? What were you trying to say? About
I spoke about Samatvapuram is where Kalanjar said, people are living separately. We'll all put them together, like 200 model townships they built, where everybody will be there according to their percentage of thing. So there'll be like 20-25 Dalit houses, and then there'll be 3% of Brahmins and OBCs and all those things. The irony is that there's a lot of existing Samatvapuram itself, a lot of caste violence cases there already. People killing, that itself we have a case study. That is different. The money which went, where only 25% Dalits were using it, the whole money which went was from Dalit SC/ST fund. So peace and equality can be achieved only through our money.
No, you are saying that the entire money for the entire township would go from subplan money.
SC/ST money.
But
money.
only 25% of the residents would be Dalits, you're saying?
Yes, they can prove me wrong if I'm wrong. That's the thing. And then now with proof, with data, what happened was last year, we put an RTI. We put an RTI. Karthik, my friend, he went and he filed an RTI on the sub-plan. So we came to know around 11,000 crore rupees of SC/ST fund was sent back without being utilized.
No, sent back funds we always have. There are two things in this sub-plan thing. Every year we see statistics coming out from every state almost, that the largest chunk of money that was allocated under sub-plan for SC/ST development has been returned. It has not been spent. The question really is, where was it spent? And that is the more interesting thing, because that is what is hidden. We have not managed to find data anywhere in the south.
Two things. One is they spent on certain parts. Another thing is they sent away certain parts because they did not want to irate the OBCs also. They don't want to use Dalit money because OBCs will get offended. They don't want to bring a honor killing prevention bill because OBC will get pissed off. They don't want to prevent manual scavenging because OBCs will get pissed off. They don't want Dalits to enter temples because OBCs will get pissed off. So they didn't use a lot of the money and they sent, but certain 1,000 crores went into diversification, because if you put the full money, it will be easily deducted. So only small part cannot be deducted. You know what we did? We filed this RTI, we got the data, we questioned them. So what they did was, this 1,000 rupees thing is coming. This 1,000 rupees, this whole, India is copying 1,000 rupees per month for women. See, self-respect movement has been shrunk to 1,000 rupees. Self-respect is 1,000 rupees for me. That's what a self-respect movement. So they all went around asking for votes, saying we gave you 1,000 rupees. Oh, this minister Durai Murugan's son went around and asked women, oh, you're looking sexist. He went and said, you're looking all lovely. You use Fair and Lovely. You bought Fair and Lovely with the money we gave us. You went to beauty parlor with the money we gave us. You're all shining. Everybody went and said 1,000 rupees, 1,000 rupees, 1,000 rupees. But what happened was, again we filed an RTI to find out 1,000 rupees, because we had a doubt what was happening. We filed an RTI and we found out 1,500 crores, 1,450 crores from Dalit SC/ST fund has been set for this Magalai Urume Togai. And I asked, we all started asking, how can you do that? And Uday Chandran said, no, we are not doing anything unlawful. I said, why? Because he said, a part of that whole people will be Dalits. No. The part of the beneficiaries will be Dalit. No. Actually, SC/ST fund, according to the constitutional values and according to the law of SC/ST fund, you cannot divert it for any generic schemes. You can only use it for any scheme where 100% beneficiaries are Dalits. That is the law. So the case is going on. The scheduled caste, the Republic Party of India in Tamil Nadu have filed a case. A lot of people have filed a case. It's going on. There'll be a verdict. But Uday Chandran came up with something. He said, a lot of Dalit women are using the funds, so we use the fund. 1,450 crores. And then you said you gave the money. We gave the money. It's Dalit's money, no? And now, since we are putting all this RTI, they came up with a legislation. They came up with a legislation where all Dalit NGOs went around and saying, oh wow, we got answered. One person called and said, Shalin, we spoke about it last year, no? See, now they said they'll budgetize this SC/ST sub-plan. They've come up with the legislation. So we went and we were searching oh, okay, really? Maybe they would have done something good. What they've done is, they've changed the legislation in such a way that the money can be diversified legally hereafter. The money can be diverted legally. So all the money now will not be returned, but be diverted into all the things for, Stalin's travel or anything. Yeah, anything. It can be used for anything.
So the reason why legal protection was demanded in the first place has been defeated by a law that was finally brought in to defeat that very demand. Okay.
Yeah, you also made I think News Minute came up with a report, no? With all the factual data of that order, government order. So it is this shocks me, because instead of doing good to Dalits, you're oppressing me. You're thinking we are fools. You're thinking we are fools and we are naive. And we can just give in to your all, Dravidian progressive rhetoric.
All right. Now my last question. I want to talk about this other term that you have used, which is the NGOization of the Dalit movement. NGOization of the Dalit movement, and you have said in the past that there's a lot of focus on atrocities. Why do you have a problem with focus on atrocities? Where do you think Dalit NGOs are going wrong? What exactly is your critique of that space? The reason I ask this is because one of the things is that in the rest of the country, there is a lot of a lot of people know about the kind of atrocities against Dalits that are happening in Tamil Nadu, and the credit for that should go, I suppose, to the NGOs who are working in that space, because they have managed to highlight the plight of Dalits in Tamil Nadu.
Give some credit to me, yaar. I'm risking my life to bring out this information.
Okay.
on Twitter, what job I'm doing, and people say she does nothing. So there's a lot of times for the last 3 years, I brought out a lot of, I worked with those NGOs and I brought out a lot of information online.
But then why are you critical of that NGO activity? What exactly is the political problem with that? Why do you think that's something which cannot, is not sustainable? Why?
Yeah. One thing. I worked with these NGOs. I still work with few, and I've done a lot of media lobby for them. I digital activism for them. Brought out news. Khalid himself said that last year, because of me, 25 cases in Tamil Nadu in the last 1 year have become a national and international news. Everybody will know. From Vengevayal, we were even threatened. For writing about Vengevayal, because last first 2 weeks they didn't write about it. Kadir went and did all those fact-finding report. He came up and I started writing about it on Twitter, and it got viral. And in one of the Tamil magazines, they code-named me and Kadir, and they said they will arrest us. The government went ahead and said that, and that happened. And they said they're doing digital activism, which is kind of spreading fake news and all. And then a lot of things happened. The Tenkasi incident of social boycott and all, we brought it, and there's a lot of things which happened. So I'm very glad these human rights, I will not even say NGOs, I will say these human rights organizations which exist in Tamil Nadu, which has been bringing out Dalit issues. Otherwise, we will not know about the honor killings in Tamil Nadu. I would say Tamil Nadu is the honor killing capital of India. Manual scavenging death capital of India. And untouchability, I don't know whether it's in capital or not, but high levels of untouchability. They are talking about Vaikam 100 years. Stalin is going to Kerala. He's standing with the comrade Vijayan. And here, people are not able to enter temples, small temples also. Even yesterday I spoke to a group of people in Tenkasi. I've reported about it, I've written about it. People still not able to get into temples. So there's a lot of temple entry problems. Children are made to wash toilets in schools. There are a lot of institutional murders which is happening. And there's a lot of untouchability. Villages existing and people living as outcasts outside. And the caste system in Tamil Nadu is horrible.
We know all these things because of the NGOs, right? So what's the problem in...
Yeah, but what happens is, we come to know about it. A sensationalization is created. A number is created. A data is created. But what about conviction rates? Why there is a drop in conviction? Two things are there. Conviction rates in Dalit atrocity cases is 5% in Tamil Nadu. So what happens after these NGOs engage with the victims? What happens after the fact-finding reports? Because we do see certain cases going to, the court, the judicial thing, special courts. But after that, what happens? Nothing happens. For example, this case of...
But is that the mistake of the NGOs?
The domestic violence case, the domestic work, Rekha's case. It all sensationalized, everybody came, spoke about it. Now what is the status? So if I go back and track those cases, the cases are lurking, in the space. There's nothing, there's no closure to these cases at all.
So you think that's a mistake of the NGOs? Because the entire, in the case of atrocities,
I think the NGOs,
the entire system...
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Between you and me.
There are others watching, by the way.
I will see, the system is a desired problem. Caste is there in the special courts. The government PP always comes up with a weak prosecution and all those stuff. But apart from that, I initially analyzed. What I analyzed is the human rights organization at one point become NGOs. And they become this process-oriented where they just stop with training and bringing that sensational news outside. But pursuit of justice does not happen with most of the cases, except for 2 or 3 cases, which is very sensationalized for the year. And then what happens is a lot of Dalit political parties. These NGOs can take the help of political parties to get awareness, in their consultations and all. But certain NGOs are aligned with these political parties. And when these political parties are aligned to Dravidian political electoral vote bank, they will not make these NGOs work in the goodwill until the end. You get my point? Because suddenly there is a case, and a human rights organization is taking care of the case, SC/ST case, and then a political party comes in and the case gets closed. Or the case doesn't get closed, it just stays there. And then the victims come back to us asking for help and compensation and all those things. So what does those political parties mandate the human rights organizations to do? And then I work with a lot of grassroots level organization, human rights activists, separate activists, Arundhati community, Palar community, Periyar community. They always complain that these political parties are doing katta panchayat, kaap panchayat in most of the Dalit cases. You ask me, right? Why, as a Dalit, I've been fired by political parties or my own brothers in the state? Because it is my job to criticize my brothers, question them, right? So every time there is one party or two party who go ahead, even now in Alangulam, in Tenkasi, a barber shop incident has happened where Dalits are not allowed to cut their hair. An MBC person is involved, and I'm hearing of news of political parties getting involved and charges was not booked. So, what are these political parties aligning with this human rights organization trying to do with these cases? Because of their electoral alliance is my question here. You can go ahead, you can speak to any witness, because I spoke to this panchayat because Khalid and all were working with these panchayat leaders, women panchayat leaders, Dalit leaders, who were horribly, cruelly treated in the name of caste. And this one person from Vedanagi, she was from Kadalur, and she came up with she was literally crying. And I said this one particular Dalit party is there in Kadalur, and I said, why don't you take those help? They take their help. I'll give their number. And she said, madam, I wish they don't come inside in the first place, because they'll create me more problems. Because I know what they are capable of. They never support us, but they will only support the dominant caste. And this today, at the cost of my life, at the cost of my career, at the cost of all, abuse and the horrors I'm going to face, I'm telling you the truth today, because I want some kind of, full stop to this. I just want an stop. Okay, stop it. It's enough. Don't do this. Don't do this kaap panchayat with your own Dalits, not with your own bloods. Horrible. You can't do that. Don't. The house slave thing, no? Django Unchained. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, it's the greatest betrayal that you can do to the work of Baba Saheb, Ayodhi Das, or any person. Take my grandfather, no? He was a land rights activist. He spent his whole life living in a slum, protecting the slum and everything. And tomorrow, he's dead. And the slum will be gone because it's in the main road. And they cut the water supply, sewage connection, everything has been cut. But I'm sitting and I'm fighting for it. And tomorrow the Dravidian government will, take people out of that place. And you think these parties will come and support us? They never support us. They want us to work for them. They want us to praise them. They want to patronize us, but they don't want to save us. If they have so much of power, they just went ahead and saved these slums from being evacuated. I will not be able to see my own relatives. I feel guilty that I will not be able to see my own set of relatives after a couple of years. I lost a lot of relatives who migrated 40-50 kilometers away. A lot of my relatives are in jail, under trials, on false cases, because they are Dalits, they are Periyars, because they speak like me, but they don't speak English. I speak English, I'm on internet. I get online abuses, but they are booked under false cases. They take cases, case kudukkuradhu. They take cases. They do a lot of stuff. I don't have a family tree. I don't have a family tree. No, I'll not have my land. I have a 200 square feet home.
Okay, Shalin. Okay, I'll let you be. I think we'll call it here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shalin, for
Sorry,
sharing that.
sorry. JB,
Thank-
yeah.
I'm sorry, this discussion brought out your tears.
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah,
It's about
yeah.
lose, it's about loss. So yeah, no problem. Yeah. I mean, I am strong, but losing your roots is not the same. Exactly why I should be called scheduled caste. I don't want to lose my roots. I am a scheduled caste person. It's not about reservation, it's about the identity. I can't lose my identity. I can't be erased from the map. Because it's easy to erase a Dalit from this map. Sorry. See, I've become a crybaby.
No, I guess you don't want your tormentors to see your tears.
It's okay. Let them see my tears. Even
that
Ambedkar
was-
cried. Even Baba Sahib cried. Vulnerability makes us stronger. This empathy. When people ask me, how you fight. Because somebody told me Ambedkar cried. Buddha cried. Ambedkar cried. So we cry so that we wash ourselves of this sorrow. This tears washes off that fear. Tears wash off everything. And we fight after this. We become very strong to fight this. Because I've told you a lot of truth. And I am scared what will happen to me after this. But I will speak the truth. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Thank you, Shalin. So that was Shalin Maria Lawrence and her ism. Some of you obviously were provoked by what she said. Some of you, I'm sure, passionately agree with what she said. But that was Shalin Maria Lawrence and her ism. I'm sure listening to her gave you a sense of where you stand and what's your ism. That's all from here. I'm Sudipto Mondal. Thank you.